up guys, and welcome to this week's episode of We Are the Bonsai Supply. I am Jerome, and today I'm going to answer 5 of your questions. Alright, so the first question is from Stefan, and he's asking how would I take care, or how is the procedure of a store-bought schefflera, and he is in Europe and he deals with 4 seasons, so how would I go about training a schefflera over there? So me being born and raised from Switzerland, I actually have some experience on growing trees in a climate that has 4 very strong seasons. So a schefflera is actually a very strong tree and very resistant tree. So this tree would do really well on the inside of your house during the cold months, especially winter months. So once the night temperatures stay above 45 Fahrenheit, I would move my schefflera out into full sun, and once the night temperatures drop below 45 Fahrenheit at night, I would move my tree back inside, keep it by a sunny spot and by a window, keep it warm. If that's not enough, I would get a grow light. Now, how I would proceed with a store-bought schefflera, depending on the size, if I'm satisfied with the size that I already have, I will pot it into a bonsai pot and then just grow the branches. If I want the trunk to bulk up a little more, I would plant it into a very large pot and just let the tree grow uncontrolled for a few years until the trunk has bulked up to its desired thickness. And then I will start my training from there. Alright, so the next question is about Brazilian rain trees. And the question was, I have some leaves that turn white, not on the entire canopy, not on all branches, just on a few spots. Why is this happening? So out of experience, when a Brazilian rain tree starts to get white tips of the leaves, it's usually an indicator of a nutritional deficiency. So what that could mean is that either you use black soil completely and the root system cannot breathe because it's suffocating. It could also mean that the drainage holes are clogged up. It could also mean that the tree is root bound and it needs to be repotted immediately, because when the tree is root bound, it cannot absorb all the nutrients. That's water, food, insecticide, anything like that. It can't absorb it. So I would take a look at those things. I would also make sure that you use a good fertilizer, good free draining soil like our core soil that we use for all of our Brazilian rain trees. So if the tree is not root bound, you're using good soil and you're using good fertilizer, and the tree's in a warm place, you should not have any white leaves. So my recommendation is pull off the white leaves, adjust what I just mentioned, and then when a new growth comes out, if it comes out healthy, then you're in the clear. Alright, so the next question is from Mark, and he says, I'm on a budget. Is it okay if I use the Bayer 3-in-1 insecticide for now, and then add on the Bonite granular a little later? So yes, it is okay if you only use the Bayer 3-in-1 right at the moment. But in the very near future, I would add on the Bonite granular systemic to your mix as well. And the reason why is because if you only use one of the two, the insects can get immune to the insecticide that you spray or that you use. So therefore, you always want to make sure that you use 2 different chemicals that kill insects 2 different ways, so that the insects cannot get immune to it. Alright, so the next question is about aerial roots, and the question was, how do you encourage aerial root growth? So being in Florida, in the far south, in Fort Lauderdale as I am, in a super tropical climate, I don't have to encourage a tree to give me aerial roots. I just have to wait for the summer to come, which is pretty much all year long. So I get aerial root growth pretty much all year long down here. Now there is a little break when the humidity drops a little bit, because in order for aerial roots to come out, it needs to be very humid. So if you have a greenhouse, you can encourage your tree to grow aerial roots as well. If you don't have a greenhouse, what I've heard of some people do, that they mist the underside of the tree for a minute long a few times throughout the day, and that also is supposed to encourage aerial root growth. Alright, so the last question I'm going to answer today was, when I repot a tree, is it okay to leave some of the old soil, or should I remove all of the old soil? Now that's a very good and very important question, and here's why. Depending on what your situation is, there's a couple different steps that you want to take. So for instance, if your tree has been collected, it is very, very important that you leave as much of the old soil as possible so that the tree does not get shocked and that it can recover much faster. Now, if this is your situation, like right here, like I have, where I am repotting a pre-bonsai, and it came out of this black nursery soil, and now I'm going to repot it into this good bonsai soil, right? So at this point, I would remove no more than 70% of this old soil. So it's always good to leave about 30%. Now this of course depends on if your tree is healthy like this one is. Yes, leave 30% of the old soil. If your tree is in a very, very bad state, where you know the soil is very muddy, for instance, or you think the root is suffocating, take the tree as is. Try to break up as much soil as you can. Still leave a little bit of soil so that the tree does not get shocked from the old soil into the new good bonsai soil. Pot it into a much larger pot where the roots can escape the old soil and grow into the fresh soil. So by the way, this guy that I'm repotting here is a tiger bark ficus, which is actually the exact size that we sell on our website as well. So, see, I'm leaving about 30%. It came out of this bucket and I removed 70%, and I'm going to put just a little layer of the new good bonsai soil, plant it in the center, and now I'm going to tie it down. If you collect the tree, or you know your tree is not in a very healthy state right now, don't bare root it, because you could set it back in training if the tree gets shocked. So just leave some of the old soil, now add some fresh bonsai soil, and then the next time you repot, what you can do is you can either wash out part of the roots and leave the other roots intact, or you can just remove a little bit each time you repot of the old soil. Alright, so I'm actually going to do this now once a month, where I'm going to answer some of your questions. So please keep the questions coming. And next week's video, we're actually going to be at the BSF convention in Orlando, which happens once a year. And we're going to go ahead and check out the trees that they have on display at the exhibit. And of course, we're going to film it all for you as well. So see, now here we go. Here the tree can grow from the old soil into the new soil without shocking the tree at all. And this is the way you should proceed. Keep in mind, in bonsai, less is always more. Alright guys, this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and I'll catch you guys next time.